And one more thing, can everyone who wants to have a question raise their hand so we can make sure that the mic folks can see you? Thank you. All right.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm the mom of a transgender student. This is my daughter Lily. She's 15. And, you know, I've spoken to any number of you as well as others of how the state could create institutional bullying, which is what they're trying to do with their Women's Protection Act, which Senator Garcia and I could probably go on hours about protection of women being discriminatory in its own way. But I want you all to know that I've been reaching across the aisle to Matt Krause. I'm expecting you to react to that. and you know, talking about this issue because he's been out speaking in support of it. And to the lady who asked, if you have a story to tell, reps from other districts will listen to you. Because I said to him, why are you bullying my child? Why are you doing that? And he you know, that makes them very uncomfortable because they don't want to deal with the real faces of the issue. And so I'm asking you all, how can we better help them understand how they're directly hurting children and families in this state, directly targeting specific people? And how are they getting away with that?
I think what you're doing is what needs to be done. I think, you know, I listened to a mother sometime this week who was yesterday, and if she just tells that story to more people, I mean, it's compelling. I mean, you see how the mother is just only trying to do what is best for her child. And you know that the bullying exists, you know all those things are there. But when you hear the mother express it, I mean, you're really moved by it. That you would have to be a lump of the log not to feel it. So I think if we get more people to come and tell their stories at the hearings, if we get one, or at the press conference to just get the message out, that's what we need to be doing.
But you need to find constituents in his district to have the most influence.
Absolutely.
I think the senator's right. I mean, tell your story, but constituents, that's who you're going to listen to more than, and you know, that's who's going to have your ear.
Great. Yes.
Yes. Hello, and thank you for being here, and thank you to everybody else. I was wondering, in regards to the 2017 Texas legislation, what are the issues, what are the bills where we can come together, where opposing sides, in your opinion, where are opportunities for opposing sides that may not usually be aligned to find common ground, you know, in that battle, which ones are most winnable?
Well, there's been a lot of them filed.
There's been more. We looked at this. There's actually been more anti-discriminatory bills early filed than the others, I'll just say. So that's actually a good sign, you know, that not everybody's rushing to file, bills that are hateful towards people, and that you're seeing more early filing of positive bills.
I have a House Bill 573 that I filed. Let me tell you what it does. I'm attempting to make some statutory change to reflect and address same-sex marriage, parental relationships, and the removal of provisions regarding the criminality of the unacceptability of homosexual conduct. I want to remove the gender-specific terms husband and wife from the family code and replace it with spouse to reflect the Supreme Court's decision on same-sex marriage. It also removes the section on the penal code prohibiting homosexual conduct. So that's one of the things that you can do. You can get me with that.
In regards to the hero bill, that if more attempts to make alliances with ministers had happened, it might have been more successful. Is there anything else in that same vein, you know, contacting ministers, any other groups that you think that we should reject?
I think everybody. I mean, I think I said it earlier. All the natural allies, just reaching out to everyone, because it is about fairness and equality and justice. And if you're an American, that's what you should believe in. So I think that the more we reach out to everybody, the better off that we'll be. And we shouldn't assume that somebody's not going to be with us until we ask them.
I think you're going to have to get suburban moms. That's the most direct answer I can give you. But for that is who you have to get. Soccer moms, yeah.
Brother Mal?
Hey, good evening. Thanks for being here. My question, I don't know how pertinent it is. I got a lot of questions in my mind. I don't really know which one to ask. But the one question I'm going to ask is, I'm looking forward to the day that people kind of look at candidates and elected officials as what they stand for and not as a Republican or a Democrat. But I guess my question really is, with today's politics, we have Democrats going so far left and we have Republicans going so far right. What can you suggest or what can you do to help try to bring things back to the center so things can actually get done in politics?
Let me tell you what we do in the Texas legislature, because that's the only body that I'm familiar with. When we get to working on issues, we push aside Republican and Democrat and we deal with the issues. Now, we have to take into account of people that we represent, because we're their voice there. But we don't let that interfere with us, because if it did, we would not be as far down the road on so many issues as we are today. We can't take care of Washington, D.C. We just take care of Texas.
But you have to just encourage as many people to vote in the primaries as possible, and that means, I'll be honest, in my House district, right, Clinton beat Trump by 15 points. I beat the Democrat by 11. So think about that, the dynamics of my district. And I hope that's because I'm doing exactly what you're saying, is trying to find how we can get things done. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to have, especially me, we're going to have primary challenges. And so everyone's either running to the right or running to the left of each other. And until we motivate more people to turn out in a primary and vote, this is going to be the state of politics. And I think it's only going to get worse. We've been lucky in Texas, but you're seeing more and more members sort of bucking that tradition and wanting to be more obstructionist as opposed to collaborative, which is, I think, what we typically are. But when people are voting in the primaries, you're going to get the furthest to the right and the furthest to the left candidates elected. And from my perspective, that doesn't typically represent the majority of folks. They're usually center left, center right, at least in my House district. But you have to, get reelected. I'm lucky because my constituents allow me to take positions that, may be seen as controversial in some Republican circles, but are perfectly reflective of theirs. But I also get like 75% voter turnout. That's the highest in the state, and you don't see that anywhere else. But that's why I think I get to get reelected, is because of the high voter turnout.
And just a follow-up question, Representative Davis, what do you think is your coalition that makes it perfect for you to be that bridge builder that you just communicated you were? I listen, try to work with everybody. Just by the very nature of my positions, I'm not considered a social conservative, and so I think I'm pretty much reflective of who I represent, fiscally conservative, highly educated folks that are not motivated by hating anybody or wanting to restrict what women do. And so that's kind of been the voice that I am for the area, and it seems to work, but I think that sometimes it gets lonely out here. Sure would like some reinforcements. Vote in the primaries.
Well, I'm a Democrat in the Senate and a progressive Democrat at that, so it does get lonely in the Senate. And I think the Senate is more partisan. I think you saw a lot of the time when we really debate issues. A lot of the votes came down to straight 2011 on the number of really important issues. I think the local consent and the local issues, of course, we all vote 31-0 or 30-1 or maybe 29-2, but on a lot of the big ones, it comes down to 2011. And I think we're going to see more of that this next session, regrettably.
I think there's a question on this side.
Yes, Representative Thompson mentioned to financially support those who support our positions and things like that. So really the business community has more money than a lot of us individuals. And so my question actually is to the business person. On this issue or any other issue, do the business community say, okay, we're going to let you as a representative or senator feel what it's going to be like for the state of Texas, and we'll withhold money from you. If you pass this bill, this is what's going to happen. Is this something that the business community is thinking about doing, or has on this bill or anything else?
I can only speak for the Texas Association of Business, and while we do have the PAC, the Political Action Committee, that does endorse and give out campaign checks, it's very small in comparison to what our association is. So I don't think members of the legislature are really looking for our checks to make a huge difference in their pocketbooks. But where our influence comes from is being able to go to a senator or a representative and say, we have, 15,000 employees in your district because of, Exxon's in your district or whatever, and they're siding with us because of this reason. Or we can give them a list and say, the entire state business community is with us. And should you choose to go against us, where are those people going to vote next time? They're probably not going to vote for you because we're going to endorse and make sure that our members, which is over 4,000 members in the state, know that this representative or this senator did not side with us. And we put out a report at the end of every session where we actually grade all of our reps and all of our senators and let everyone know exactly how we feel about how they voted with the business community. If an HB2 gets, or bathroom bill does get filed, which it will probably be on our business report at the end of the session. And so we'll be able to see who voted for the business community, who voted against it, and that's going to be one of the factors that we judge them on.
But don't be a lazy voter by relying on scorecards to make your decisions about candidates, please. Not to say anything negative about the Texas Association of Business. I am in agreement with TAB, with the caucus on these issues, but there are issues I don't agree with the TAB. So, and a lot of us this idea of getting these scorecards becomes our whole legislative agenda. We vote based on what grade we're going to get from this group. So then you have just a collective lack of actual thoughtful governing, and more just, I need to get reelected and this group tells me to vote no, so I'm just going to keep hitting no. So I appreciate the scorecards, but I'm going to throw that out as that. Do not rely on a one group or one issue scorecard, unless you're a single issue person.
And we encourage that as well, because there's so many scorecards out there and a lot that are just false information. So definitely do your homework. Take every scorecard you see with a grain of salt, but make sure you do a little of your own research too.
And Bernie Sanders got a lot of money on $20.
But we do encourage you to vote the card.